I realized something the other day that honestly kind of broke my brain. Everything I own fits in this one small bedroom. $53 old, a whole lifetime, and somehow it all ended up in one room. And weirdly, part of me feels embarrassed about that, but another part of me feels lighter than I've felt in years. This room is my bedroom, my office, my storage unit, my figure your life out headquarters. And before anybody says it, no, this is not one of those minimalist channels where somebody owns 2 forks and spiritually connects with a plant every morning. I still have too much stuff. Most of which is stored in totes under my bed. So I still have too much stuff, just significantly less than I thought I would at this age. I think half of us over 50 are just carrying around emotional support clutter. A few years ago, if you had told me my life would look like this, I would have thought something went horribly wrong. Because I think most of us secretly imagine life getting bigger as we age. Bigger house, more security, more certainty, more stability. Not trying to fit your entire existence between a laundry basket and a nightstand. But here's the weird thing that nobody talks about. Sometimes losing almost everything forces you to finally see yourself clearly, because there's nowhere left to hide. No giant busy life, no packed schedule, no pretending everything's fine because you're keeping busy. It's just you in a quiet room with your thoughts. And I know some of you watching understand this feeling way. You understand this feeling all too well. Maybe you went through divorce, job loss, depression, burnout. Maybe your kids grew up and suddenly your whole identity disappeared overnight. And honestly, I can see myself in all those scenarios. Like I've been through all of those things. Maybe you just woke up one day and realized, I don't even recognize my life anymore. That's a terrifying feeling, especially when you're over 50. Because society kind of acts like reinvention has an expiration date. Like if you haven't figured it out by now, you're not gonna. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to figure out if YouTube can become my retirement plan, which is either inspiring or deeply concerning. We'll find out together. And yes, before anybody asks, I absolutely have Googled, can you make money on YouTube after 50? Multiple times at 2 a.m. like a responsible adult. But this room has taught me something important. Your life can get smaller without your future getting smaller. And I didn't understand that before. Because externally, yeah, my world shrank, Less money, less stuff, smaller space, smaller social circle. But internally, I think I'm finally becoming more honest with myself. And honestly, I think a lot of us spend decades building lives we don't even really want because we're trying to survive. Trying to keep everybody comfortable, trying to be responsible, trying to look successful. And somewhere in the middle of all that, we disappear. I disappeared for a while. I became somebody who was just existing, just surviving. Wake up, stress, bills, exhaustion, repeat. No excitement, no direction, just survival mode. And survival mode will eat years of your life if you let it. That's the scary part. Not silence, numbness. That's the thing that really steals your life. There are nights in this room where I feel hopeful. Like maybe this is the beginning of something. And then there are nights where I look around and think, how did I end up here? Both things are true. And I think YouTube sometimes creates this fake idea that transformation is beautiful and cinematic. You know, cue the inspiring music, clean house, morning routine, green smoothie, new life. Meanwhile, real reinvention looks more like crying in sweatpants while eating peanut butter crackers and researching side hustles. That's real. And honestly, I think more people relate to that now because life has gotten weirdly hard for a lot of people, especially people our age. Everything feels expensive. The world changes every 5 minutes. Half of us are trying to recover financially, emotionally, mentally, and we're expected to pretend we're fine because we're adults. No wonder everybody's exhausted. Also, can we talk about how every start over in life video online is made by a 27-year-old on a beach? Sir, respectfully, that is not the same challenge. At 53, starting over hits different. You're carrying decades of disappointment, fear, regret, responsibilities, and a little bit of humiliation sometimes. Because starting over sounds inspiring until you're actually doing it. Then it mostly feels awkward. But I'll tell you something I've started realizing. This room, it's temporary. Not because somebody's coming to rescue me, but because I finally stopped waiting for permission to build a different life. That's new for me. And maybe that sounds small to younger people watching this. But if you've spent years feeling stuck, you know how massive that shift actually is. I don't know exactly where this channel is going yet. I don't know if YouTube will work. I don't know if I'll ever have financial freedom. I don't know if I'm rebuilding my life correctly. But I do know this. For the first time in a long time, I'm at least moving. And movement matters. Even messy movement, especially messy movement. So if you're watching this while secretly feeling like your own life collapsed a little, you're not the only one trying to rebuild from a room that feels too small. And maybe that's why I'm making these videos. Not because I have answers, but because I know there are other people sitting in quiet rooms right now wondering if their life is already over. And I don't think it is. Not yet. Also, if this channel somehow becomes successful, if I get monetized, this bedroom is absolutely becoming a legendary before clip. I will replay this footage dramatically. Probably with emotional piano music. So if you want to stick around and see whether this turns into a comeback experiment, you should probably subscribe. Either way, it's going to be interesting.